.nsc, and you can use a grep command to find exact with that nmap script engine, right? So using these scripts, so these are all the known scripts, right? So I think I have shared you the scanning document. I hope you guys received that, right? So in that, I have mentioned you about the scanning part, and we done with the three types of scanning. So first we went through the network scanning, so where we got live host and the IP addresses. Then we performed the port scanning. We got the ports open, their services, the versions and their operating systems, all these things we have extracted. And we have performed some spoofing techniques also, source port spoofing, or even the fragmentation or decoy scans also we have performed, right? And then we have moved on to this vulnerability scanning. So in this, we are trying to find the weakness. How we are finding the weakness in the sense by using the scanning engine, which is nothing but NSA script engine. So this script engine consists of some known vulnerabilities files. So now we are checking that known vulnerabilities files on the target and getting the information. So again, I'll just recall the part what we discussed yesterday. So just we have scanned the system. So the target. So let me take the target, which is metasploitable. So try to host the metasploitable if config. All right, so you can see 0.236 is my target. So go with some scan techniques, TCP scan I'm performing. Or if you're not mentioning, also by default, it will go with the SYN scan. Or if it is in user level, it will perform TCP scan, right? So go with 192.168.0.236, and I'm going with a specific port 21, and I'm taking the version also. I'm looking for the version also here. Let me run that. So when I run, this is the information which I collected by performing the port scan, right? So using these information, means the version information, FTP service information, open information, state information, we gather this information. Based on this information, we are going to perform the vulnerability scanning here. So to perform the vulnerability scanning, by default, we have NSC, which is nothing but nmap script engine. Okay, so this script engine contains some known vulnerabilities, means the existing vulnerabilities. Not only the vulnerabilities we have the enumeration scripts, we have vulnerability scripts, we have brute force scripts, we have. So you have all these things in combination in this NSC, right? So on that basis, I got to know the target is open, means the FTP service is open. So when I'm trying to access that FTP service, so to access the FTP service, the command is 192.168.0.236. When I run this, you observe it is asking for the username and password. So do we have the username and password of this FTP? Do we have that? Do we have that option here? No, we don't have any username and password with us. So what we can do, let's look for any scripts which are related to the brute, or even, yeah, anonymous login. By default it will be there, but what if they disable the default login? At that time again you need to go with the brute force only, right? Means you need to create your own word list and you need to try on the target, right? So here also same, by default we have some brute scripts here. We can use these brute scripts and check if it is giving any credentials or not, right? So let me go with nmap. What is the command to run the scripts? What is the command to run the scripts? Hyphen scripts equal to, can go with that particular script brute and give the target IP and go with the port number. See, port number is not mandatory, but if you give the port number, what happens is it will directly perform on the particular port. Not it will try for all the ports in that. So better mention that, it will be easy for you to perform the attack fast. And here it is not showing any result. Wait for the result. Why? Because it performs in the backend basis. So completely you can check with that Wireshark. You can check that complete things what happening in the background using this Wireshark tool. So I think I have shown you this part. So if you look for FTP, So you can see it is trying for login. So it is trying some pass. So how it is trying in the sense, this particular script has a default word list. So word lists are nothing but here. If you open your file systems in your Kali, if you go to the user, share, remember the path. It's very important. Just look for word list folder. So can you see the word list folder here? So this word list folder contains some known usernames or known passwords. So if you see here nmap, so can you see it tries all these known usernames on the target. If any of the thing work on the target, then it will get the response and give the output for you. Same here also, it is trying all these known things. So can you see it tried the username, it tried the username, try the username, it tried the password, it try the password. What is the output it got? Login incorrect. Means it is trying on the target and getting the information for you. Right. So by default, it is having that. Right. So it's used these default usernames or passwords and run on the target. Okay, so still it is going on. And we have another method also to perform these kind of attacks. We have another tool called Hydra. I personally suggest this tool for service password cracking. You can use this Hydra. So Hydra is a password cracking tool. Okay, so you can see here you have hyphen L is nothing but the login, hyphen uppercase L is nothing but the file, login file you need to give. Means if you know the username, you can give that username directly. No, if you're not aware of that username, what they used, you may think like there are some multiple usernames. So then you can give the file. Okay, same password also. If you know the exact password, you can give that. If you don't know that, if it is a guessable scenario, so create a word list of that password list and you can give that. So for example, let me create a word list here. Okay. So what is the command to create a text file? What is the command to create a file in Linux? Anyone? What is the command to create a file? Touch. Great. So touch, I'm going with user. First, I'll create a user file. So user.txt file. See, I'm creating my own word list here. By default, you have a word list in your Kali machine, but fine, I'm using my own word list here. Means I'm going to create my word list according to the target. I know the target maybe keep these kind of password or maybe use these kind of password. On that basis only, I'm creating my word list. So that is what the touch. So I use the touch here and go with ls. So if you see there is a user.txt, right? So now to edit that file, what is the command? You can use vi or nano, right? Or edit. So you have these things. I personally use nano, go with user.txt. And now I'm going with some guessable things. So my target is obviously it's server. So server means by default, what will be there? Admin as a username or root as a username or user as a username. It means I'm guessing there. I'm guessing completely on my guess only and creating my word list. You're getting my point? So password cracking here is nothing but based on your information, they'll guess that and they'll perform that attack on the target. If that cracked, that's fine. If not, yeah, you can't do anything. This is how the things work here, right? So already we know MSF admin it is using as a username. So let me use that one also. And we are doing an FTP service, so I'm using the FTP as FTP as the username. Or let me take it's a kill device, so I'm using a kill as the username. Or any other thing. Administrator or service services. So like that, you can guess something and you can create your own word list. Control X, Y, and enter will be saved. And next, same, I'm going to create my password file also. Pass.txt file I'm creating. See, I'm creating my own word list here. Okay. And let me do that on my target. Nano pass.txt. So what will be the passwords the server may keep? Let me try some default passwords like password or password 123 or root is there. Means root to default password is tour actually. You can try that one. And FTP service, I'm going with FTP. User is user only. Admin as a password sometime or admin 123. Right. What else the servers will have? So we know MSF admin. Previously we logged in with MSF admin and MSF admin. Akhil 123. Okay, that's right, 123. Right. So some guessable passwords I have created here. Control X, Y, and enter. Right. So now you can see I'm having the user text file, means I have guessed some usernames and I have guessed some passwords. Now using this Hydra, so just go with Hydra -help. When you type that, it's only one hyphen. Yeah. So I have given some examples for you here. So for on services, IMAP, POP3, like subnet of FTP service or your target SSH. On SSH also you can try, right? So here, if you observe, there is a uppercase L and lowercase L they are using. So uppercase L is nothing but they are giving the file, user file. We created that. If it is a lowercase, directly you can give the username there. You getting my point? Directly you can give the username there, right? So remember that part. So make sure if you have a username, directly you can give that. If not, you can go with the file, text file of that known usernames or passwords, right? So simply go with the Hydra hyphen, which L I need to go with. If you know the username directly, if you want to mention the username, you can go with lowercase l. But I have a list of username. Why? Because I don't know exact username of that particular service. So I'm going with L, uppercase L, and give that file. So where is that file? In root user.txt. Then hyphen p, uppercase p I'm using. Why? Because I don't have any single password. I have multiple as a guessable scenario. So give that path. So root dot pass.txt. Here the file is. And go with ftp colon slash slash, why? Because I'm doing on port FTP only, 0.236. Just run this. So now you can see it is attacking on FTP service, and you can see it is performed that word list. Yeah, you got some credentials. So how many valid credentials you got? Again, this is completely guessable basis only. Whatever the passwords you're keeping in the text file, only that passwords will be brute forced on the target system. If it is allow the login, then it will give the output as a successful. That is what you're getting here. Is that clear, everyone? Are you guys able to follow me? Is that clear? Is that clear? Just confirm it. Right, what I did here, is that clear? Simply, I have given a user file and password file, and I'm trying on port 21 FTP service. So now it tried that, means it is trying in backend by default username and password. Same username and password. Same username and password. It is trying on the target and getting the response. Got it? So you got 11 valid credentials. Now try to access FTP service. FTP. Let me try what is the username. Let me go with FTP as a username. Password as FTP only. There is FTP. Just try that. So you got login successful. Go with LS. Can you see the files inside that FTP? So you got the access here. You can be able to access the services here. Got it? Is that clear, everyone? So means We try with the service directly. It is asking for username and password. We tried some brute force attack here. And if you see, we run that brute script also, right? So you got the output. Here you got the output. What is the output you got? Valid credentials, which is user and user means FTP. Username is user you got. Password is also user you got. Is that login successful? And CLS, can you see the file? Means in user folder there is FTP, in FTP only one file. But here you logged in as a FTP and FTP. This is another user, in that it contains two files. So depends on the users. Every user has a, means for FTP you have multiple users here. For this FTP server, we have multiple users here. Got it? So I can use the question mark and see these are the commands which you can use. Create, to delete, or to track anything. Right? So this is what the brute force scenario. Is that clear, everyone? So this is what I have given task yesterday. So run brute script for FTP and SSH. See what is the output it is giving, what credentials you got. So you got the credentials here. When you run the brute script, are you getting the credentials? And here, how it is getting the credentials? Again, it is using the word list only. Again, it is using the word list only in the backend. Got it? So same thing, do for SSH. So get, is there any SSH brute script? Do that for the brute. Yeah, for SSH also you have brute script. So go with nmap -script. Copy the script, SSH brute. -p 22 and target is 192.168.0.236. 22 is SSH port. Run this. So now you can see it is trying the username, password. Here it is showing you. For FTP, it didn't show that verbose, but here it is trying. So you can see trying the username and password pair. So wait until it's done. By default, see, did I given any username and password for them? Or did I given any word list? No, right? So by default, it is having their word list and it is trying that word list. Here, we customized our own word list and we tried using the Hydra tool. You got the difference of the Hydra and the FTP brute? Hydra, we can customize the usernames and passwords, so we can give our own word list and we can try. But here it uses its own word list, which it contains in nmap basis. Got it? Is that clear, everyone? Guys, try to respond. There is almost 200 plus students. Just try to respond. Is that clear for you guys? This is a kind of password enumeration. Means we are enumerating the usernames and passwords. So enumeration is nothing but trying to get more information about the machines, users, passwords, services, share folders, all this information we can try to gather that. This is what enumeration. So if you observe, when I run this brute script, is that giving any access to me? Like అదేమైనా access ఇస్తుందా? Is that giving any access to me here? No, it's just giving the information, which is username and password. So here by running this brute script, I have enumerated the username and password of these particular service. That is what we call as a enumerations. So in enumeration, you're not getting any access, but you'll get the information in detail. It's a kind of an active information, the target in detail. That is what I can say here. Okay, so it's trying that. So you'll get the output. You can try, or you can use a tool called Hydra. Clear? So try to learn some FTP scripts here. Sorry, FTP commands. Try to learn some FTP commands or SSH. So when you try to, even SSH port is also open, right? Let me check. Port 22, is that open? Yes. So now the port 22 is open. How will you access? What is the command you use here to access the port 22? To access the port 22, what is the command? Anyone? Just let me know. Just Google it and let me know what you'll find. Just Google it. What is the command to access the SSH service? Let me know. Anyone? Just let me know what is the command for SSH to access. I'll give 1 minute of time. Just find it and let me know. We'll see how many of you do that. F1PR. So my question is here. మీరు స్కాన్ పర్ఫామ్ చేశారు. ఓకే, సో పోర్ట్ స్కాన్ పర్ఫామ్ చేసిండు. పోర్ట్ స్కాన్ పర్ఫామ్ చేసిన తర్వాత మీ టార్గెట్ అనేది ఓపెన్ లో ఉంది, అంటే ఎస్ఎస్హెచ్ పోర్ట్ అనేది ఓపెన్ అని వచ్చింది. సో పోర్ట్ ఓపెన్ ఉందంటే అది లిజనింగ్ స్టేజ్ లో ఉన్నట్టు. సో ఇప్పుడు నేను ఎలా యాక్సెస్ చేయాలి? వాట్ ఈస్ ద కమాండ్ టు యాక్సెస్ దిస్ ఎస్ఎస్హెచ్ సర్వీస్? FTP అంటే FTP and target IP or domain you can give. But for SSH, how will you access that? SSH service ni ఎలా access చేస్తారు? Got my question right? How will you access this SSH service? What is the command? You done with the protocols and port numbers, right? What you did there? I told you, go with the functionality of the each and every protocol. If you're not aware of the functionalities of the protocols, it will be a bit difficult for you to practice on this part. Huh? So exactly, SSH username. So what is the username we got? Do we got any username here? Still it is going on. Let's try a user called user only. Okay, I'm trying a username as user and machine IP address 192 dot 168 dot 0 dot 236. When I run this, you are getting an error. Okay, I have to mention port 22. Okay, so you have to mention the port 22 also here. So this is actual command SSH username, machine IP address, and port number you have to mention. But you're getting an error. So what is this error actually? So whenever you're facing these kind of things, whenever you find any errors, now simple. What I do is simply I'll copy the error. Simple. I'll copy the error. I'm showing how to do the troubleshooting here. Just go to the Google and paste that error. Look for that. So I'll get many solutions. So open 10, 2 or 3 tabs here and go through that and see what they are suggesting for you. So same error if faced. Fine. So let's see suggestions. So they said the version of OpenSSH including 16.04 disabled. So there's a nearest page with legacy information included in this issue. So I think there is a issue of related to the OpenSSH service which was blocked in latest versions. So note that public key accepted is the backward compatible layers public scenarios. Okay. So here they have given some. So if you want to use a newer OpenSSH to connect this with yourself. Okay. So in olden versions, yeah, that command will be work, but latest version, they have disabled the OpenSSH service. So because of that, you're not able to access that. So for that, they have given some references. So you can run this particular command. You getting my point? So in nutshell, you should add this option to the SSH command or go with another one. See what they mention here. So the reason Open SSH version is put at DSA key by default. So you should suggest to your GIT provide to add some reasonable host key. So because of that, we are getting the error. So the host key they have provided, you can use that. Okay, so here you can use this one also. So simple for this error, just go with SSH. Same you need to continue, but just add this host key, right? And go with the user at the rate target IP 92.168.0.236 and the port number. Enter. Closed. Mhm. Is the port open? I think there are brute forces going on. Closed by the remote host connection. Closed by the. It's live only, right? Let's wait till the brute force one. Just give me a second. Yeah, you got valid credentials, user and user. Okay. Hmm. So maybe because of this brute force I'm performing, right? So at the time when I tried for that, it is not able to get connection closed, it is saying. Means there is another process is going on with that service. So it says as a connection closed, but yeah, once you're done with that brute force, if you try it again, yeah, you got that. So just go with fingerprint, yes. And now it will ask for the password. Currently added 168. Is it also? Right. So what is the password we got? User as a username. Password also user we just type. Hmm. Right. So try to remove the port 22. Okay, this is the command actual to access the SSH. The host key is missing. Give that host key and username. This is the username. If it is username is root, you need to mention username as root. MSF admin, user, like that. If you have any usernames, you can mention that and you can try. So now where am I? Where am I? PWD, LS, and see the folders. So now can I make mkdir? Can I create the folder here like hack with LS? So can you see I can create the folder hack, right? So if you go to the target machine, you can see these things. Means remotely you connected to the target machine. That is what SSH do. So cd dot dot go with ls. Can you see the user folder? So cd user in that go with ls. Can you see the Akil and hack folder? Can you see that? Right. So remotely I can able to access that from here. So even I can delete that. So rmdir hack, let me delete. So now you can check. Is that folder deleted now? Means remotely you got the connection of that service. All right. Is that clear, everyone? So if you have the username and password of that service, you can log into that and you can get the access. This is what SSH. Is that clear, everyone? Right. Some no, say something. That's Control C. Just run this exit. Right. So we'll get back from there. So this is how you can get the access through the services of the target. And yesterday we discussed about the vulnerability, right? So this is enumeration, finding the usernames and passwords. So now we'll go with the vulnerable scenario. So nmap -sv. So we got the version. So using some tool like Searchsploit, VSFTPD means it will search for the is there any exploits available on this particular version or not. Okay, so when I run that, yeah, we got exploits. So what version our target is running? 2.3.4. So there is a vulnerability on 2.0.5. There is vulnerability on 2.3.2, which is denial of service attack. And there is 2.3.4, which is backdoor command execution. And here they mention it is available in Metasploit also. So we do that. So yesterday I told you to go through this Metasploit framework. How many of you done with that? Did I told you to go through that Metasploit framework and I have shown you what to do? I told you, right? In Japan and Bhutan. I mentioned even in task also I have mentioned to go through this Metasploit framework in that it contains the modules, use these modules and to load the Metasploit framework, this is a MSF console thing, right? So we're not done with that. So make sure to just go through that. Okay. So now we are inside the Metasploit framework. So now you can see MSF console to load the Metasploit session. So now what you have to do is now you need to get your target, like what exactly you want to do. That first you need to prepare for that. Means I'm going to perform the exploitation and I'm looking for this version. I have the information about the target, about the port information, service information, and their version information. So when I look for the version, and I got to know that there are some exploits available on that version, and it is exploitable also. Why? Because we run that NSC script, and we have seen yesterday there is vulnerability and exploitable also on that particular service, right? So based on that information, I'm searching. So there is an operator called search. In Metasploit framework, we have many operators. In that, one of the operator we have search. So search VSFTPD. Why I'm telling you to get the exact exploit name in the sense, if you're not having the exploit name, if you go with the FTP, means directly service base, you know how many results you are getting here? 312 results you are getting. Which means 312 exploits, post exploits, auxiliaries, payloads you are getting. Will filter against search only FTP exploits. I need only exploits. Now 126 exploits we got. So in this, which one you are going to run? So it is a bit difficult, right, to find that every time. So that is why I'm telling you, whenever you scan that, gather as much as information you guys can, get that information and find the exploit name also. So here our exploit name is VSFTPD. So search. How many results you got? Only two. So it will start from 0 and 1. So how many results you got? Only two. So in that one is auxiliary only. So again, you can go with the exploit of this particular VSFTPD. Now you got only one result. So the advantage of having the information is easily you can perform the attack and it is easy for you to find that. You got that? Is that clear for you guys? So by knowing the exploit name, it is easy for you to search in this particular framework. So now, how will you load that? So again, how these things work in a sense, yesterday I told you, there is a folder. Just go to your file systems, user, there is a share, and just simply search for Metasploit framework. So here you can see the Metasploit framework. So in that there will be modules, I told you. In that modules you can see the exploit. Right? If you observe here in this part, it is exploit Unix FTP vs FTPD backdoor. Means Unix where it is Unix where it is FTP, here it's FTP, and can you see the VS FTP 2.25 backdoor? And I told you it is running on Ruby language. So you can see, right? You can see. So it is running on Ruby language. All right. So now we are going to run this script on the target and see whether it is giving the output. So how will you load this module? We call this as a module. So to load this module, we are going to use a command called use. It will be the same for remaining. It will be the same for remaining also. Try to understand. So simple to load this module, I'm going to use. You can copy this entire module up to here, or you can give this number. So I'm going with the number base, so 0, enter. So now where we are? Now where we are? In VSFTPD 2.3.4 module. So first what we did, we search. Remember this step, we search for the exploit. If you have the exploit name, give that exploit name. Then as a result, we got some suggestions. And to load that module, we are using a command called use. Search, use, then show options. Show options here. So when I go with the show options, you can see why show options in the sense to run this particular exploit. First, you need to configure your target. Where we need to perform this exploit, on what machine we need to perform, on Metasploitable. So you need to configure that to the Metasploitable machine, right? So here C host is nothing but the local client, which is nothing but your device. So try to see here, there is a required field. Can you see? Can you see that required field here? Is that visible for you guys? So required is nothing but it's mandatory. Like required field, you can see there is no and S option. No in the sense it's an optional. Means if you have this configuration related information, you can set that. If it is not having with you that information, then you can make it as an optional here. But when it says as a S, that means mandatory, means you need to set the RO host. So who is RO host here? Who is RO host here? My target mission, which is nothing but the remote host. C host is nothing but the client, means my device. So they are optional. So I'm not going with this part. They are optional only. But these two are mandatory. In that already one setting is set, which is port address. Our port address, obviously we are doing on FTP server. It is running on port 21. By default, it took the R port. But R host was not given here. So we need to set that. We need to set that R host. So simple, go with this set R host and give your target IP 192.168.0.236. This is your target. Now you can go with the show options again. See, is that RO set again? So I'm using a command called show options. So is that RO set? Is that RO set for you? It's set, right? Right. So you can go with that. Now we set the ROs, we set the R port. So the two fields are satisfied. Means the required settings we have configured here. Right. So now go for exploit. So there is nothing to run. Just go with the exploit. Right. So you got one thing, set found shell, and you got the command shell session here. Can I see? You got the command shell session. So 0.25 is my machine. So in that it opened port 343629, and this is my target. It is open on port 6200. This is a backdoor command execution. So you done. You got the access of the target system. That is what exploitation is. You did the exploitation and you gain the access also. Can you see that you got the access? You may think that sir, where it is not showing anything about the target. It won't show you. You need to run the commands and you need to get that ls. Can you see the files? And there is a root folder. So can I enter into that cd root? Well, here you're not getting any GUI base. It's complete CLI, command line interface. As I mentioned, it is command shell. Command shell means you need to give the command shell and interact with the target. So a shell is nothing but the interpreter between the user and the target. Right. So whatever the commands you're giving, it is giving that. Go with ls. Can you see the files here? So when you logged into the Metasploitable server, do you have the root access there? You got the root access there? Or you logged in as a user level? How many of you hosted this Metasploitable server? Just let me know. How many of you guys installed the Metasploitable server on your VM? How many of you did that? Rasul done with that. What about others? Vinay did. Vishal did, right? What about others? So now just confirm me that like you guys have downloaded that and you have installed. So when you logged in, so what is the credentials you use to log into the Metasploitable server? Rasul, Vinay, just MSF admin, right? So MSF admin and MSF admin you have used and you logged in. What level of access you got? User level of access or root level of access? What level of access you guys are getting there? Anyone? Actually, you're getting the user level of access. MSF admin is one of the user there. You're getting my point? So you know what is the starting directory? It's a file system directory, right? So you got a user level of, and even you can see the dollar indication also. I told you the dollar and hash indications. Do you remember that part? In Kali installation, I told you on the day. So where dollar indicated with the user level of access, hash indicated with the root level of access. So just by seeing that symbol, you can tell that what level of access you got. And whenever you log to the root, definitely your username will be the root only. Or you need to configure that manually, the root name. But we didn't do any configuration here, right? So by default, what will be the username of root? Root only. But here we use the username as MSF admin. So on that basis also you can tell that you got as a user level only. You didn't logged in as a root, right? So if you observe, here we have the root folder. So let me enter into the root. So go with ls. Can you see the files? Akhil, desktop, hack, everything. But remember you logged in as a MSF admin only. Okay. So let me get mkdir Akhil. So what it is saying? What it is saying here? Permission denied means as a user level you logged in, you can't able to create, delete, or edit the files here. You can just view that files. That's it. As a user level, You have access only to view, not to edit. So when I try to create the folder, is that able to creating the folder? Is that able to create the folder here? No. Why? Because you logged in as a user role. So permission is denied. But if you observe here, when I perform the exploitation, can I able to create the folder in this? Am I getting any error? No. So go with ls. So is that folder created in root? Is that folder created in root? Means what level of access I got here? You guys are able to follow me. Here, remote backdoor execution have performed, right? So here I got some commercial access. So I entered into the root folder. I have listed the files and you can see these are the files it is adding. Then I have created the folder and again I can see folder was created. Means it is not giving any error for me. That means what level of access I got here? Here, a root level. It's root level, Vinay, not user level. User level, I can't able to create the folder, right? In directory of the root, I can't able to create the folder of root, right? If I'm having the root user level of access, I can't able to do that, right? Because as a user, I can't create a folder or edit the files here. For that, you need to get the root permission. But here it is not asking anything, just it's created. That means I got a root level of access. So now we don't know what is the root username and password by default. We know only MSF admin and MSF admin as a username and password by default. But here I got the root access. Can I able to get the root password? Can I get that root password here? Can I get or no? What do you say, Rasul? Can we get the root password from here? See, I'm already in root only, Monica. I'm already in root folder only. In root folder, you can see I have entered into the root folder and I have listed that and I can see the files here. And even I have created the directory also. And even I can access this files also here. So now already I'm in root. Can I able to get the root password or can I able to change the root password? We did for the Linux, if you remember. We entered into the root using sudo-su or -i. We entered into the root. There we used a command called passwd. Do you remember? Right? Enter. So can you create a password? Yes, I'm creating a password. TOOR, the default password. Is that password updated successfully? Yes, yes. Now let me log out from here. So log out. So now let me log in as a root and TOOR. So where am I now? And even you can see the indication of dollar. Right. So let me go with if config. Can you see that? We got that access. So we did reconnaissance, scanning, and gaining access. We did that. Now you can install any of the malware in this or any of the backdoor you can create here. Is that clear, everyone? So this is what the exploitation is. So when I perform the exploitation, I got the reverse connection of the target and gain the access. So whatever the activity we performed means I have exploited the target mission, right? Just let me know. Will they know that activity? వాళ్ళకి తెలుస్తుందా నేను అటాక్ చేసినట్టు? Will they get to know that I have performed the attack and I have exploited their mission? Will they know that activity? What do you think? No. What do you say, Russell? Will they know that activity? So two members said that no. What about others? I have performed the attack, right? So if anyone exploit చేసిన, I have performed the attack. So will they have no? They will know. Exactly, they will have your logs. As I told you here, it is establishing the connection from my machine from this port to on their machine on this port. So if you observe here, where logs will be stored, in Linux, where will be the logs? Logs are nothing but here events under logs name. Means whatever the activity you guys are performing, right? For that activity, it will store in the event form. And that events we call as a log, logs we can say. So ఇప్పుడు ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ మీరు సిస్టమ్ షట్ డౌన్ చేశారు. సిస్టమ్ షట్ డౌన్ అయింది. ఇస్ దట్ ఏ నార్మల్ షట్ డౌన్ ఆర్ ఎ ఫోర్సబుల్ షట్ డౌన్ ఆర్ బ్యాటరీ డ్రైన్ అయి షట్ డౌన్ అయిందా? లైక్ వాట్ ఎగ్జాక్ట్లీ మీన్స్ ఈవెన్ సిస్టమ్ ఎలా షట్ డౌన్ అయింది అనేది కూడా ఒక యాక్టివిటీ. అది దాన్ని కూడా స్టోర్ చేస్తుంది అనమాట. అండ్ మీ సిస్టంలోకి ఎన్ని రిక్వెస్ట్ వచ్చినాయి, ఎక్కడి నుంచి రిక్వెస్ట్ వచ్చింది, ఏ పోర్ట్ నుంచి వచ్చింది, ఏంటి అనేది ప్రతి ఒక్క యాక్టివిటీని ఇక్కడ లాగ్స్ లో సేవ్ చేసుకుంటారు అనమాట. సో ఐ టోల్డ్ యూ ద బ్లూ టీమ్ సాక్ సెక్యూరిటీ ఆపరేషనల్ సెంటర్. So what these people do, they'll collect these logs and analyze the activities. సో ఎక్కడ నుంచి ఏ యాక్టివిటీ జరిగింది, ఏ సిస్టమ్ నుంచి ఏ యాక్టివిటీ జరిగింది ఏంటి అనేది ప్రతిదీ చూడొచ్చు మనం. సో ఇన్ యువర్ విండోస్ ద లాగ్స్ విల్ బి స్టోర్డ్ ఇన్ ఈవెంట్ వీవర్. మీ విండోస్ లో అయితే యు సీ ఇన్ విండోస్ ఇట్ విల్ స్టోర్ ఇన్ ఈవెంట్ వీవర్. ఇక్కడ ఉంటాయి మీకు విండోస్ లాగ్స్, సో అప్లికేషన్ లాగ్స్, సెక్యూరిటీ లాగ్స్, సో ఫర్ ఎవ్రీ ఈవెంట్. జస్ట్ a second, it is loading. Yeah, you can see every event, every second with timestamp. With timestamp, it will store that information. So here we got some error. What is this error? So Windows 32 sysmain.dll specific model could not be found. So Windows cannot load the extendable counter, and you can see the event ID. Sorry, yeah, log name, event ID. Just a second. User, user. So all this information. So level is error. So all this information, you can go with the details. It will give the XML format of that information, right? Which library, event date, event ID, error, everything you'll get here. This is logs we call. So same here also in your Linux. When it comes to the Windows, it is in event viewer. When it in Linux, you can go with the system file system folders. File system folder in the sense it is cd slash, / enter. Go with ls. Can you see the var folder anywhere? var folder. Where it is? Yeah, here you can see the var folder. Can you see the var folder? Even in your Linux also we have that var folder. You go to the file systems. Can you see the var folder? In where we have the log folder. In that we have all the logs, the activity logs. So all the logs on them. Right, system logs, OpenVSP, PostgreSQL, private. And see, this will be the log at what time, at what date, what website, everything you can see in the log spaces. Right, error logs. What are the error logs? Apache to configure error. So the logs will be the same in your Metasploitable server. Also, the victim will go to the logs. So it will be in var. So cd var. Go with ls. So where will be the log folder? Cd log. Enter into that folder. Go with ls. Can you see there is a vsftpd log? There is a user.log. There is authentication log. Kernel last mail. all the logs, system logs are the very important, right? So can you see that? You guys are able to see that logs? Yes. Is my screen visible for you guys? Yeah, you can see that, right? Yes. Yeah. So can just go with the cat, cat command, right? To see the content, we use the cat command. So cat, go, just go with vsftpd dot log, enter. So now, what is my device IP? My Linux. These are all the logs. Till now, these many attacks performed on my system. What is my IP? 25, right? So from 25, the attack is happened. These many logs. Okay. So can you see? I got one log here. So there is login. There is a user login happen. At what time? What is the process ID? And who is the client tried to log in? Can you see? Is my IP address triggered there? Is my IP address triggered there? Yes, right. So 0.25. So now they got to know your IP. They'll trace back you. This is how the things happen in real time. Also, when you perform the attacks on their servers, in their logs, your IP address will be stored. So by taking this IP, they'll go with the lookup and get the ISP information from there to your home. That is how the things work, right? So now, can I able to clear that from here? Can I clear the logs from here? Already I got the remote access, right? So I know where the logs will be. So cd slash, let me go with cd var, cd log, let's see ls. Can you see there is a vsftpd log? So can I remove that vsftpd dot log? Go with ls. So is that log is there? No. So check in the target machine also. Just go with ls. Now can you see is there vsftpd log? Is there any vsftpd log? No. So can I clear the log? I can. Because I have access. So before coming out of that system, I have just cleared the log and I came out of the system. Simple. So this is what vulnerability based exploitation. Is that clear? So we perform the reconnaissance, scanning, gaining access, maintaining access, and clearing the log scenario. So log can be cleared when you have the root level of permission only. Remember that. Got it, everyone? Is that clear, everyone? What I did right now? Any doubts? Please let me know. I'm asking you again. Is there any doubts? Please let me know. Clear? That's great. All right. So that is how you can perform the attacks. Okay. Same thing you can do on Windows also. So the Windows system. So I'll try to get the Windows system here. All right. Right. So I'll share the Windows file. So I have shared the documents. Just download the document, everyone. So in that I have given Windows 7 ISO file for you. So try to install that on your VM. So here if you take my Windows 7 I'm having. Same, we do the same thing. We did on FTP server. Now we are doing on Windows 7. So Windows 10 is secure actually. Windows 10, we don't have any vulnerability right now. We need to find some 0 days. So we are having Windows 7 where it is vulnerable for some of the services. So we'll do on that services. Let me check the IP address. So it's 0.213. Let me run my Kali Linux. Now same thing. We performed on Metasploit, right? Same we are going to perform on Windows 7. So first, open your Kali, scan the target IP with the nmap, see what are the services it is showing. In that, which service will help me to gain the access of that Windows system. Check that and perform some vulnerability scan and see what kind of exploit is available for that particular vulnerability. Okay, so we'll do that. Just give me a second. Right. So here you can see same method what we did for the Metasploit server. So let me go with nmap and scan. Use some technique, which is 192.168.0.213 is my Windows machine. Run that and see what are the ports open here. Okay, you got some ports open. So now, can anyone tell me in this which port will help me to gain the access, means the connection of Windows 7? Which port will help in that? Anyone? Okay, yeah, everything is TCP only here. Can you see the service? You need to look for the protocol. So in this, which protocol will help me in that part? Hmm? Anyone? Echo. Echo will give the connection. It will establish the connection. will be your task. So at the beginning itself, I told you to go through the protocols and port numbers. So if you're aware of these protocols and port numbers, then only you can able to perform the attacks. So you performed a scan, but you don't know which protocol will help me to gain the access of that service. So in Windows based, most of the services they use the common service which is used to establish the connection is this one only, which is SMB or NetBIOS based. So NetBIOS it will work within the network, but SMB it is over the network. So which is server message block. Getting my point? So this is a service which we use. And what is the port number for this service? What is the port number for SMB service? What is the port number for SMB service? Exactly. So 445. Right. So is that 445 open? Yes. So Microsoft DS is also known as SMB only. So don't be confused. If you say a Microsoft, so it is used for the name is given to the port 445, which is used by the SMB. So SMB is a network protocol used mainly in Windows networks for sharing the resources over a network. Means it will try to establish the connections with the files or printers basis. So is there any exploit on this part? Yes. So what is the exploit we have? Eternal blue. So MS17010. So now I have scanned and I choose my target 445, which is nothing but SMB. So let me look at NS scripts for SMB. Is there any scripts? Oh, I got many scripts, enumeration scripts, flooding scripts, vulnerability scripts. We have these many vulnerability scripts we have. And again, how will you find in this which one is vulnerable for this particular SMB service? Again, how will you identify? So simple. I'll give one tip here. Go with nmap -script. So no need to run all that script. Simple go with smb-vuln. Only these two letters. Right. Just run these two letters and go with the star indication. Star indication here. So what happened? So it will run all these things. So go with your target 192.168.10.213, right? Right on port 445. So now no need to perform one by one here. Just give SMB-1 and star indication. It will go with all that scripts. And you can see it run all that script in that which script is vulnerable it is saying. So it is vulnerable for MS17010. So is there any MS17010? Yes. This one is vulnerable for this particular. So what is the vulnerability we have? Remote code execution vulnerability in Microsoft SMB version 1 server. Means your target is using SMB version 1 service on the system. You getting my point? So your Windows system is still running SMB version 1, and in that SMB version 1, we are having a remote code execution vulnerability. And you can see the risk factor is high. And you can see the CVE also, common vulnerability exposure ID also. Right. So a critical remote code execution vulnerability exists in Microsoft SMB version 1 servers. So your target is in same SMB version 1. So for that it is vulnerable and it is giving the output form. So when I go to the Google and when I type MS17 -010. This is the information I got. So based on that, I look for the exploit. So it says there is an exploit on the vulnerabilities. And what is the name? Hmm. So eternal again, I have to ask for the Google only for the exploit name. Definitely, you have to do some research on the part. So previously I done with that. I can do that directly, but to understand on your point, I'm going with again Google. I'm searching for the exploit name like that. I'm doing. I already know that there is an eternal blue attack, but again on the basis like whenever you find in that same page, just go to the Google, look for the exploit name, and find eternal blue. So now go with the exploitation. How will you do the exploitation here? And even you can see it search for the another one also. It says false. It says as a network Discord access, so entity status was denied. Means it tried all these scripts here. So in that only this particular script is vulnerable for that particular target. Got it? So now what I need to do? How will I exploit this? What is the source required to exploit this scenario? You performed a scan. You got port open. And you perform some vulnerability scan and you got to know the target is vulnerable for some kind of exploit. Now, how you're going to exploit that? What is the source you guys are using here? Why FTP? We are discussing about SMB. Why FTP came here? నేను ఎస్ఎంబి గురించి మాట్లాడుతున్నా. ఇక్కడ ఎస్ఎంబి సర్వీస్ ని మనం స్కాన్ చేసినాం. ఎందుకు FTP వచ్చింది మళ్ళీ? FTP is another service. SMB is another service. Both are different services here. Hmm. Anyone? What you'll do? We did for FTP, right? Already. Same method I'm saying here also for Windows system. There we scanned on FTP service. We found some vulnerabilities. We exploited that using MSF console. In MSF console, look for the exploit, show options, set ROs, exploit it. Simple. I told you it's the same method what we followed for FTP, VS exploitation. Same method for Windows 7. I'm doing that. There we tried on VS server, and here we are doing on Windows system. That's the difference. There we looked over for FTP service. Here we are looking for SMB service. Right. So search. So what is the exploit name we found? What is the exploit name we found? What is the exploit name we got here? What is the exploit name we got here? Eternal Blue. You got that right. Or else search for MS17-010. See what are the results you're getting. In that, go with only exploits. You got only 4 result. Sorry, 1, 3 result only. This is Windows SMB, MS17-010 Eternal Blue we have. Another one is SMB exe we have. And another one is double pulsar. But when we Google it, what is the relevant we got? Eternal Blue. So use 0. Right. Now show options. So what are the options it is showing for me? So our host, say required thing. Our port already was set. Do you have any SMB domain? I don't have any domain, so I'm going with optional. Why? Because there is no option. SMB password you have, username you have, I don't have. I'm going with the default, optional only. And yes is there, and it was set to the true, which is architecture is Windows 7. Verify target is Windows 7 based true only. So we set everything. And here you can see L host and L port we got. So why they are mentioning L host and L port? Again, L host is nothing but the listening host and listening port. So who is listening here? My Kali Linux on port 4444. Why? Because once we exploit the target system, it should give the reverse connection, right? So where it is giving the reverse connection in Metasploit session. Okay. On this particular IP, it is giving the reverse connection, right? So what I need to set here? Only R host, right? So only R host I need to set. R port is already set. These are the optionals, and these two are also set already. So left with R host, just my target 192.168.0.213. So now just go with the exploit, enter. It will check by itself by default again by running auxiliary SME scan. It will check whether it is vulnerable or not. It got to know likely vulnerable. And now it will send some packets, fragmented packets to the target, execute the payload, and get the reverse connection in Metasploit. Now you got the Metasploit shell. Previously for VSFTPD, we got only the command shell. But here you got the Metasploit. So when you type help, you'll get all the commands. What are the commands you have? You can see all the commands. System commands we have, network commands we have, file system commands we have, core commands we have. So using these commands only, you can able to access this the target system, right? For example, here you have the screen share option, right? So just run screen share. Just wait, it will open your browser. Can you see here, whatever I'm looking in this, it will do the same thing. For example, if I minimize here, same. If I open this file, means remotely can view what I'm doing here. That is what screen share. You got that? And able to see whatever I'm doing here is showing that in that machine. So that is what screen share means. You got complete access of the target system. Got it? Right. So Control C to break this part. Just a second, it was stuck. Right. So like that, you can check IP config. So it will give all the IP address of the target system. So key scan down, and even you can use a command called shell. So when I use the shell, can you see where am I now? Inside the target system command prompt. So cd dot dot. So cd dot dot. So just go with the TIR option. So can you see the files? Same files you can see here also. So where am I now? In C directory, right? So let me go to the C directory. Can you see the files? Program files, SAM, system, user, Windows. Can you see that file? Same, right? So simply I'm inside the C drive of that particular target, right? So to get back from here, just type exit and you'll get back to the Metasploit again. And even I told you the logs will be there, right? It will store the logs. So obviously when I perform the attack, that information will be stored in the logs. So you can see the logs. So can I perform the logs clear here? So clear Eve. So is that wiping the logs? Now check. Go to the target. Just get back. Go to the Windows. Is logs cleared? The application logs, security logs, and security system logs are cleared. Right. So this is a command which I can able to clear the logs. Right. So this is how you can get an access of a system. So this is how you can perform the system hacking. So this has happened because of the target is vulnerable only. You getting my point? This has happened because my target is vulnerable. So taking the advantage of that vulnerability, I have performed the exploit. What if the target is not vulnerable? What if the target is not vulnerable? Any idea? What do you do? Here, your target is having vulnerable and running the scans, finding the vulnerabilities, and you're exploiting. What if the target is not vulnerable? You can't exploit that, but you need to perform some social engineering there. Social engineering is nothing but you need to create some payloads and send that payload to the target. You have to open that payload, then you'll get the remote connection. So that is what social engineering techniques they use nowadays. So what is the countermeasure you guys will give for this? Imagine you guys are the security analyst in a company, and these are the things happened in your company. What you guys will do? Anyone? What is a countermeasure? Countermeasure is nothing but the mitigation. ఈ అటాక్ నుంచి ప్రివెంట్ చేయడానికి ఏం టెక్నిక్ యూస్ చేస్తారు? వాట్ టెక్నిక్ యూ యూస్ టు ప్రివెంట్ ఫ్రమ్ దిస్ అటాక్? Anyone? What do you do? First try to understand root cause. ఇది ఎలా జరుగుతుంది? How I got the access? The target is vulnerable. So what is the vulnerability here? They're still using the older version, means they're not updated. You getting my point? Well, ఇంకా update చేయలేదు. Still these guys are using SMB version 1 and even they're using VSFTPD version 2.3.4. Means they're older versions. They're not use the latest versions here. So if you use the older versions of the applications, what happened? Easily we can exploit them and we can gain the access of the services or the devices. So what we need to do here, the first thing, you need to update your system and services every time. So why you're getting the updates for your applications? Why you're getting the updates for your system? Because it contains some known bugs or vulnerabilities. To patch that vulnerability, we update our system. So they release a patch, you need to update that patch on your system. So where you can prevent from these kind of attacks. So why I can't do on my Windows 10? Why? Because they're secure, they're patched, they are up to date. To do that activity, again, they need to find the latest version of exploit. Means you need to find some 0 days. Got my point? Is that clear? Is that clear, everyone? Right? So again, I'm typing that. Just go with the Metasploit framework, everyone. So make sure to update your systems. Perform Windows 7 exploitation. Perform VSFTPD exploitation. So these two are the vulnerability version-based exploitations. Okay. And go with the Metasploit commands. You need to learn about the Metasploit commands. Okay, so if you see here, when you go to the Google, you search for Metasploit commands, you'll get an OffSec website. So this is complete guide, a complete book you can consider for Metasploit framework. And in that, one of the sources Metasploit session. So Metasploit, and you can see the commands. You have a lot of commands to practice. So to practice Windows 7 exploitation, make sure just go with that link. I have given Windows 7 file, txt file. So use that Windows 7 txt file and host that on your Windows, on your VMware, and practice these things. I have that exploitation on that particular version only. So that is why I have shared that Windows 7 file. Okay. Right. So make sure this is your task. So everyone just go through this. So just note down everyone the task here and make sure to complete the task. I need the documentation. Only 2 or 3 people have submitted the Nmap thing. whatever the task I have given in the previous session. Only few people did that. So make sure, try to go through these things, everyone. Got it? So if you're facing any issues, let me know. Is that clear, everyone? Is that clear, everyone? Yes. Any doubts related to the topic what we discussed today? Great. Can we do exploration using Windows 7 system to another Windows 7? Where you'll get the Metasploiter, where you'll have the Metasploit framework to perform the exploitation. Where is Metasploit framework, Sujit, actually in which system you have Metasploit framework? By default. In Linux, right? So to load that payload or to load that particular exploit, to run that particular script, Ruby script, again, you need the platform to run that particular Ruby script or yeah, it's using the Ruby scripts only, Metasploit framework. So to run that, again, you need that platform, right? So if supports in Windows 7, you can do that, but no, suppose in Linux based system, so use that. Okay, go with the Linux based, right? Great, great. So Raghu is in the session, everyone. Raghu is there. He'll explain you about the project thing for you. Okay, so if you have any doubts, yeah, just go through that. Yeah, Raghu, you can continue.
Yep. Thank you, Akhil sir. So, so hi students. So can you stop your screen? Yeah, thank you. So, as if you can see, if, yesterday's, WhatsApp thoughts or your Gmail. So our team has sent you, a link where you can create your team as well as you can select your project. So why I'm here is, so to tell you how to create your team and, how can you know it, and, what are the restrictions that we keep here. So that you'll be prepared before, so it won't cause much issues for you later at a later point of time. So let's say if I want to create a team and just giving this title, and this title should be unique. So bb team, I'm just entering some random number, but make sure it is a unique number, and your team lead registration number. So it is a college registration number basically. So let's say if my registration number is this, okay, this you will get your name here, so that you can cross verify, and this registration number should match the registration number that you have used for the payments while while confirming your payments. Okay, and you can add up to 7 members per project. Okay, all you need to do is they have to be in a same college and the same domain. So if you're a cybersecurity, your friend is in AML domain, or if your is in FSD domain, that doesn't work here. Everyone should be in a same domain, and and same domain and same college. Only then it will allow you to register. So I'm also giving out. I'm just trying out some random numbers there. So it says student not found. Okay, so it will automatically erase. So I'm just registering some teams here. So okay, I can add up to seven members, but I'm registering only two for now. Okay, for just showing you the demo. Okay, so and you can select your project. So this project once selected can't be re-edited. Okay, once you create your team, that can also be undone. So please make sure to create properly. Okay, when you create it. So so that's how we can do. Just a minute, I'm just doing it. Okay. I think there is some problem with the version. Yeah. So this is the basic version. So I'm unable to select there. Some issues are there. So wait a minute. Wait till our team will give you a detailed instructions wait till that time. We'll give you detailed instructions to how to register so that it will be easy for you and it will not cause any issues for you at a later point. So, okay. And I can select as many products as I want. Okay, I can select as many sessions, and once created, it will be created. So that's how it should be done. So I'll give you a detailed instructions how to do it and how to find your registered number by by using your registered email ID which you have used for the payment form filling. So by that you can get your registration number and your friend registration number. So in the meantime, you can find out your teams and you can group them. So once we give the link, you can fill out. So that's how it works. And if you have any doubts up there, you can drop in the chat. Does anyone have any doubts? Yeah, Manasa, I'll tell you again. Okay. So you have to give your title that should be unique. Our team will give you the registry how to find your registration number. Like you no need to find your registration number. The registration number is your college registration number, basically. The same ID that we have used for payments form billing. Okay, that you can enter. Okay, and you can enter your team members registration number also. This is also the same number that we have used earlier. This is also the same. Okay. So once you find it, you can see the confirmation where is like saying like it is displaying the name of the particular student. So once you are done, you can fill your project details. You can give the preference, okay, by selecting n number of projects. There are n number of projects here. You can do it as such. Okay. So once you register, if you click on create team, the team will be created. Okay. But make sure you should only do it with the same college, with the same domain. Only then it will allow. Otherwise, it will not allow you to register. So if only one members are there, so only for one members, we will reach out to you shortly by tomorrow afternoon, where you can do it. Yes, Koteshwari Vempala, yeah, they are changing the Google form to this form, so there will not be any issues, and there will not be any domain name. This will be auto picked based on your domain registered in the payments form. So that's how it works. No, no, Anayap. We will reach out to you on personally, okay, where we can group you with one person only, or we think of the alternatives. For now, you cannot register with other students. Only one project is required to complete. Any other doubts you have? Our team will be rolling out, all the instructions which are required. Yeah, you'll get the mail, you'll get the what you'll be it will be posted in your WhatsApp groups as well. But please wait for the time. So yeah, so it will be shared shortly with all the instructions that are required. It will be shared so that you don't have any issues out there. So that's it from my side. If you have any things out there, you can drop in the chat. I think no one has anything to say. So when we have to start the projects, sir? Yeah, the projects will be started shortly. Once you register the team, we can start it out shortly. Yeah, the times and all the dates, the schedules will be shared shortly in the groups and as well as in the sessions very shortly. It's not a major project. It is an internship related project. It's up to you. We can consider it as a major or minor. It is up to you. Yep. Akhil sir, I think people doesn't have any things to say. We can end this meet. The project duration also will be shared shortly, Prakash. Satya Prakash. Akhil sir.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, Mohan.
So yeah, we can end this meet. So I think they don't have any things to say. We will share the the project links as well as the detailed instructions to them, sir, in their WhatsApp groups and as well as to their emails respectively.
Okay.
And we'll make sure that the maximum is seven students here per group, and the minimum is three for now. If there are any single students, we will reach out to them to group to help them to groups. That's how it is.
Okay. And one more thing, I think attendance sheet should be shared in the chat.
Yeah, attendance links will be shared, sir.
Okay.
Akila, please, can you please? Yeah, I
Okay.
think she has shared in the
Yes.
in the feedback in the chat, sir.
Okay, okay, fine.
That will be sufficient. So yeah,
All right.
I will be sharing that entire thing in a very short time. That's it. Last class recordings will be you can use the tap platform to find your latest recordings. You can find your IIDT internships, cybersecurity. You can go to sessions. You can find the session links over there. So you can also use that. We'll anyway send in your WhatsApp group and as well as to your email. Thank you, sir. Akila, you can end this meet, I guess. Thank you.
All right. Thank you guys. Thank you for attending the session. Have a great day. See you. See you next session.